What do you want to talk about this week, Mr. Keaton?
The Mickey Shorts and More podcast!
Well, we are officially on the air, so we can begin. Welcome, everybody, to the Mickey Shorts and More Disney podcast. My name is Steve.
And my name is Keaton.
And we are here this week to talk all things Mickey Mouse. We are in our traditional recording studio. Keaton is sitting up here with Mickey Mouse in hand, ready to chat. We have Mickey on one side of me. We have Steamboat Willie on the other. We've got Pluto sitting in the corner. Mickey's Minnie, is back there too. You almost have the whole gang. We just have to find Goofy and Donald. I don't know where they ended up. Well, Keaton, there's a lot to talk about this week. So what do you say we get straight into some news? Mm-hmm. It's almost February. At the end of the week, it's going to be February, which means we have just a little bit over 1 month left until Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway debuts at Hollywood Studios in Florida. This is good news. I can't wait to see what this ride looks like.
And we are excited to see the videos.
That's right. Because, unfortunately, we don't see a trip to Florida in the near future, having just gone to Disneyland. But we will gladly watch the ride on YouTube and see what we think and give you a report as we eagerly await its California arrival in several years. But in the promo leading up to the launch of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, still a mouthful to say, there was a new poster that was revealed. In addition, we found out why they're revealing posters not about the ride, but about the Mickey Shorts themselves. So, for instance, this week's poster is for the show Tokyo Go, which we've actually reviewed this show. You can go back and search for it on the website and listen to our review of Tokyo Go. But if you check the link in the show notes, you will see the poster. And Keaton, what do you think of Tokyo Go?
Cool.
What do you see in the poster for Tokyo Go?
The two trains, the blue and the red.
And what's happening on the red train at this particular moment?
Mickey is freaking out.
He's holding onto the top, and he is freaking out as it goes rocketing through the upper skyline of Tokyo. So it's a fun poster. Now, these posters are all designed to hang in the lobby. So as you're going through, this is taking place in the theater at the end of the street in Hollywood Studios. I still call it the MGM Theater because, I grew up on MGM Studios, not Hollywood Studios. So it's in the theater at the end of the street. And as you walk in, you'll be seeing all these movie posters for different things for Mickey Mouse. And that's where these posters are coming from. That's why they're debuting now, so you can get a sense of the artwork that's coming to the ride. So, again, check the show notes. You can check the link to that and go see it for yourself. And from what I hear, we're going to continue to get posters. In fact, I think the posters come out on Wednesdays, and since we release the show on Tuesdays traditionally, we tend to just miss them. But we will keep talking about them each week as they come out. Now, speaking of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, another new toy was spotted this week. Do you want to see the new toy? Mm-hmm. This is actually the train ride vehicle. It can be found at Disney's Old Key West Resort, of all places, inside the Conch General Store. And it's only $9.99, which seems like a pretty good deal to me. Okay, so if you click on the article with the link, you can see what the real train vehicle looks like. And then you can see the toy version of the train.
Wow.
That's a pretty cool train, huh?
Mm-hmm. I wish I had one.
So you can see the seats back there. You can see the locomotive part up front. That's what the ride vehicles are going to look like. And those are available now if you can find them at Disney World. Now, I'm guessing, I don't know for sure yet, I'm guessing that they're going to let us out into a gift shop at the end of the ride where a lot of this stuff is going to be available. And those will go like crazy, especially at $9.99. Not a bad price. But new toys are spotted each week.
Yip, yip, yay.
Keaton, guess what we got this last week?
What?
We got a question that we need to answer in the form of a fan voicemail. Now, anybody that listens to the show and listens all the way to the end, one of the last things we talk about is the fact that if you want to contribute to the show, you can send us a voicemail, which we can play on the air. You just simply call 541-321-0472. Leave us your voicemail, and then we can feature that. And we got a voicemail this week with a question from Tyler Pope. So do you want to take a listen to that? Mm-hmm. And then we can see if we can answer his question.
Hello, I'm Tyler Pope, and I'm a Mickey Mouse fan. I've heard your show, Mickey Shorts and More, and I have some questions about That's Enough. My question is, I don't really like that short. I like all the Mickey shorts in general, and that's because, Mickey has a bunch of outfits. He wears a bunch of outfits. For example, the Sorcerer's Apprentice outfit. He has this hat in Sorcerer's Apprentice, which I think is so iconic. So, my question is it really true that Mickey doesn't have a hat? Thank you. I really love the show Mickey Shorts and More.
So, first of all, Tyler, thank you so much for the voicemail. Now, for those of you that may not have been able to understand, because it gets a little bit lost in the traditional digital gargle that can sometimes happen in a voicemail, but what he's asking about is the episode called Hats Enough. And in this particular episode, Mickey is desperately searching for his hat. He notices that everybody else has a hat. Donald has a hat. Minnie has a kind of a hat. Goofy has a hat. Everybody has a hat except for Mickey Mouse. Now, traditionally, I would say, let's leave this question for when we actually cover this show, because we haven't covered Hats Enough yet. But when I looked at the realities of the calendar, we're not going to cover Hats Enough until the spring of 2021 at the current schedule of one Mickey Mouse short every week. So that's a little long to keep someone hanging, waiting for us to answer their voicemail question. So we're going to talk about that now, even though it's a little bit out of order and not the episode we're talking about tonight. But again, in Hats Enough, Mickey is trying to find what his hat is. And then what Tyler's question is, well, Mickey should have a hat. What should Mickey's hat be?
Sorcerer.
Yeah, his Sorcerer Mickey hat. So, I mean, if he's acting in Sorcerer Mickey, he would be wearing that hat. If he's acting in a lot of other things, then he would be wearing a different hat. There's really not one specific hat that Mickey wears all the time, like Goofy and Minnie and Donald and the rest of the gang. So, to me, this episode is a fun way of kind of poking fun at kind of the history of the animation and the fact that Mickey Mouse is just a plain old mouse. There's really nothing that identifies him across from the rest of the crowd. So it's it's a fun nod to the history of the animation of Mickey, and it's a fun nod to the fact that Mickey does wear a lot of hats when you think about it. So, Tyler, you were correct. Mickey has a lot of hats, and Sorcerer Mickey is kind of his hat. But day-to-day life, unlike the rest of the gang, Mickey really doesn't have a hat, which is what I think they were going for.
Yes.
Did you have something else to add in there?
I was looking at my stuffed Mickey, and actually, his hands have gloves on.
Right. He does have gloves. Wait, does Minnie? Where's Minnie? Doesn't Minnie have gloves? Minnie does have gloves.
Does Pluto?
Nope.
No.
But per that rule, Pluto also doesn't have a hat because he's a dog.
Yeah. Totally.
But the rest of them do have hats. So thank you, Tyler, so much for calling in that question. Hopefully we brought our opinion to it. And again, keep listening to it, because next year, in 2021, we will be covering Hats Enough as we finally get to it in the schedule. Yeah, I know. You're going to be much older by the time that happens. So that said, that is the end of the news and fan interaction for this week. But again, if you want to leave your own questions or your own comments about this show and maybe ones we've covered in the past, just call the voicemail line 541-321-0472 and leave us a voicemail at the prompt, and we can get it on the show, just as we did for Tyler.
I think I would want to leave a voicemail too.
You're a host. You don't have to leave a voicemail. Unless you want to see what your voice sounds like with the digital garble.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. So let's talk some current Mickey Mouse, okay, buddy?
Okay.
Well, current is in what we're covering this week, which is a little bit of a different episode called Mumbai Madness. This is season 2, episode 8. And one of the things that I've said before, and I'll say it again, is I really believe that when the animators of this show are doing episodes that take place in a foreign land, in a foreign culture, the shows are not maybe as funny and demented humor as some of the cartoons that we get, probably because they don't want to offend the cultures involved. So, for instance, this week's show takes place entirely in India, and all the dialogue is in a completely foreign language. We don't understand what it is, but we still get the sense of what's happening. We can still totally understand it, even though he's not speaking English. So, everything, like I said, is going to be in India this week. The official show summary says, Mickey embarks on an epic odyssey across India after his taxi picks up an elephant who needs to make one simple stop. The original air date on this episode is September 26th, 2014. It is written by Derek Bachman, Alonso Ramirez, and Paul Ruddish. It was directed by Paul Ruddish and storyboarded by Alonso Ramirez Ramos. So most of the traditional crew is on board for this episode. Every once in a while we'll get some different names in there, but not this week. This week kind of back to the traditional core group of Mickey Mouse producers. So, again, as we're watching this, you're going to hear it in the background. You're not going to understand the English. I recommend you go to YouTube, follow along with us. There'll be a link to it in the show notes. You can click on that, go straight there, and you can watch it right along with us because it's an entertaining episode. It's cultural. We'll talk about all this stuff afterwards and some of the cameos we'll see in there. But, you ready to watch? Mm-hmm. Okay. Should we see if it works with our countdown?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. So we've got a busy street somewhere in India. There's a train coming by. There's people on the roof. It's so crowded inside, and yet in the back is an elephant. So all these taxi cab drivers are trying to get the elephant's business. Oh, there's Mickey Mouse. He wants to go to the mountain. Mickey points to the mountain. Yep, that's the one. All right, come on with me. The elephant offered him a map and said, do you need the map? Or pointed toward it. The elephant is so big that the Mickey Mouse's cab can't quite support him. But to go back, Mickey did turn down the map, and that is key. He came to an abrupt stop because there's a cow in the road. Why can't he hit the cow?
Because it's not part of cow culture.
But that's not part of Indian culture. So he ran into a few other cows. Oh, now there's a whole giant crowd of cows. They're sunbathing in the street. Mickey just looked back and he saw the elephant kind of bop into the beat, and that gave him an idea. He is singing an Indian dance song. He's trying to get the cows to dance. And it's working. And by getting them to dance, they are moving out of the way. So now he can continue on. Mickey said something effective. See, I made that work. 17 hours later. Mickey is like, what's going on? Finally, the elephant does offer him the map, and he's like, that's too complicated. Now we get this really interesting black and white, very stylistic piece in the middle that shows them traveling everywhere. Bunch of characters that we'll talk about later. But after all of this driving, Mickey looks so old.
And he has a beard.
Now he's frustrated, and more importantly, he's out of gas. And he's frustrated because he cannot find the mountain. He throws the map in the river, in the water, and in the reflection, he sees the mountain. But now, he's still out of gas. He notices the elephant. He's overeating a dish, which is really, really spicy. So, idea. He grabs the dish. He puts it inside his fuel tank. And now he's rocketing at the speed of light across the Indian landscape through all sorts of tapestries. Everyone's cheering for him as he flies through the sky, all powered by super spicy Indian food. But he lands in a lake, or big thing of water, fountain of water, up at the top of the mountain. The elephant kind of trumpets sadly, but he's like, look at this amazing place you are. Now the elephant presents him with the lotus flower, and then magically disappears. He's gone. There's all sorts of elephant statues. But this is really strange. The lotus flower floats away, flies out of his hands, and suddenly turns into a giant gold-covered flying car, which Mickey then can take, and in 80s style fashion, he flies off, freeze-framing at the very end. Whew. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. I can't even understand the words.
You couldn't understand the words because it's not in English. But do you feel like you didn't get a sense of what was happening?
Yes.
Yeah, because we still kind of understand. Mickey can speak the language and motion, and through his gestures, we still completely understand what's going on. We can pretty much just guess what's coming out of his mouth, which is one of the things I find really cool. We can introduce people to new cultures. Like I said originally, it's not as entertaining from a demented comedy point of view as some of the other episodes, but that is okay. We get to introduce viewers, young and old, to different cultures, and there's a lot of Indian culture in here. For instance, as you pointed out, cows. Why couldn't Mickey hit the cows?
Because it's not part of India culture.
That's right. You can't harm cows as part of India culture. And so they brought that up. They brought up a lot of the colors and the tapestries and the pure numbers of people and beings that are in Indian cities when you could see all those crowds. So really just a lot of fun stuff. Even the little shrine, and I apologize, I don't know. I've never been to India myself. But when they're on top of the mountain and there's so much there with the elephant statues and just the colors and all the ornate things, it's a beautiful episode to look at, and it tells a fun story of Mickey refusing to get help and refusing to take the map because he knows where he's going, and then getting helplessly lost. But it introduces us to just a lot of beautiful stuff. Now, did you notice some interesting characters, some interesting cameos in this episode? A lot of them are in this really stylized sequence of the black backgrounds. Okay, so starting at about the 1 minute and 47 second mark, who is the guy down here playing the instrument? The snake charmer.
Goofy?
That's Goofy, yes. Oh. Where are these guys from? Now we're at the 1 minute 50 mark, and there's a whole bunch of monkeys chasing the vehicle down the street. Do you recognize them?
They're from the Jungle Book.
They are from the Jungle Book. That's King Louie and a bunch of his little monkey minions there. So some fun nods there from other Disney cartoons that take place in an Indian culture. So you never know who they're going to bring in from there. So what do you say we talk about some random facts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now some of this we brought up before, but just want to make sure we get through our list here. So the vultures from the Jungle Book make a brief cameo appearance at the episode when Mickey's driving through the desert. That's after the black and white sequence of driving. So you can see them circling above. You can see King Louie, the Banderlog, and Flunky from the Jungle Book, as we just mentioned. They make that brief appearance. And then the technical name for the guy that was the snake charmer is Goofy Goof. And he makes that cameo appearance when Mickey's car is driving up the ladder. Again, as we've talked about, this is the 4th episode in the Mickey Short series that does not have English dialogue. The first one is Croissant de Triomphe, which is which country?
Paris.
Paris, France. Yep. The second one is Au Sole Mini. Third one is being Au Futebol Clásico, which is Brazil. So, a lot going on. And again, this is just a good, beautiful episode to look at. Again, less humorous, more beauty, but just kind of a fun way to learn about that culture and see Mickey Mouse in a new place.
Keaton's Joke of the Week.
So, Mr. Keaton, what fun, probably pun-ridden joke do you have for us this week?
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance?
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Keaton. Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance?
He had nobody to dance with.
He had no body. Because he's... Well, okay, wouldn't skeleton technically be a body? Just not skin?
I think that was the one from Coco.
Oh, but you're talking about Coco because he's dancing with skeletons. Yep. So, yeah, kind of like Coco. Great Disney reference there you pulled out. I'm proud of you. Okay. Thank you, Keaton. Thank you, Stuffed Mickey sitting in his lap. And the rest of the gang surrounding us for this episode.
Keaton's Joke of the Week.
Let's go ahead and end the show right there. Remember, everybody, that you can listen to all of our episodes about all the past Mickey Shorts and more. We're only midway through season 2, but just go to www.mickeyshortsandmore.com to find our website and listen to our shows. Subscribe there. Remember to find us on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, on Google Play, on Stitcher. Just subscribe through whatever podcast player that you have. But make sure you're subscribing so you can catch all of our episodes and not miss a one, because we're always doing Mickey Shorts each week. Also, remember to leave us a review on iTunes. That helps other people find the show and learn about the fun that we have here on the Mickey Shorts podcast. You can connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Again, just do a search for Mickey Shorts and More, and you will find our show. And then, as we talked about earlier, you can email the show or give us a call on our voicemail. So to email us, just go to mickeyshortsandmore@gmail.com. If you want to call the voicemail, you can call 541-321-0472. And as you heard earlier in the show, we will play that voicemail on the show and answer your question. Keaton, guess what's coming up next week? Guess what our next episode is?
Mickey Mouse.
No, not Mickey Monkey.
Please walk me.
These are all coming up short because you've taken a peek at the production calendar. But nope, next week is The Boiler Room. Hope everyone has a great, fantastic week. Try to get through all of these winter blues as we finish off January and get into February. But again, we've got a new Mickey Mouse ride coming up in just over a month. Can't wait for that. And we're going to get into our Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway prep shows here in the second half of February. So more to look forward to on the Mickey Shorts and More podcast. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye. Dun, 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 dun.